Thank you, sir.
Fine. Now you can see there. So when you make that interrupt pin number, bit number 7 as 1, okay, then what happens? Completely that interrupt will be disabled. Okay, so now what does it mean? You are changing the state of that particular microprocessor or microcontroller. And also if you see the bit number 5, okay, this is very important in the microcontroller, bit number 5. That is basically whether you want to use thumb instructions or whether you want to use ARM instructions. When you make it a 0, then it will become ARM instruction. If you make it 1, then it will become thumb instruction. And also you can see there, bit number 24. Okay, in bit number 24, if you make it 1, then you are utilizing the runtime environment, that Java runtime environment. If you make it 0, okay, then you are not using that runtime environment. You see, that means you are taking the control of the entire microcontroller or microprocessor. Okay, so similarly, every bit has some meaning, but it's not necessary that all the 32-bit in the program status word is having some meaning. Some are unutilized. Say for example 28 to 23. Okay, so they have not given any meaning for that, and probably if they include some other features in future, then they will give they will utilize this particular bit. So just we just have to see the pattern. Okay, and then okay, this is important. Now we know the program status word register. Okay, and we know the programming model of this particular ARM. So now what I'll do now. So I'll try to write a simple program. Okay, simple program. So basically we have done the assembly program for what is that 8051. Okay, we have done assembly program for 8051. Okay, let us see how we have to write the assembly program for the ARM microprocessor. Okay, ARM microprocessor. Now you see here. I'm just writing, some rough program. Okay, so say for example, if I want to do addition of two numbers, say, I can use R0. Okay, I have in R0 I have say 10. Okay, so assume that in R1 register I have 20. So then my intention is I want to add these two numbers. I want to store the result in R2 register. Okay, so this is my logic. So I just want to perform addition operation. Okay, so now if I want to do this particular operation, how can I do in ARM? Okay, how can I do in ARM? So this is what I'm trying to do. So simple, very simple. You can see I'll just write the code. Okay, now you can see here move R0 comma okay hash. Okay, so what happens here? The 10 will be loaded to R0. Then what you have, move R1 comma hash 0x20. What happens here? The 20 will move to R1. Okay, so then what I'll do? Add okay R0 and R1 and store the result in R2. So this is the program. Okay, this 3 lines you have to write to add 2 numbers. You understood? So to add 2 numbers, so this is the program what you have to execute in ARM. Okay, so now what immediately you have to see? You have to see something like ARM instructions in okay, instructions. Then you just have to search ARM instructions and you have to see what are the instructions are available in ARM. So you just have to have a look at this particular table, and you see here I am just opening some instruction. Okay, so we just have to study. You can see there add instruction is there. The syntax you can see there. First register is the destination register, and other 2 is basically the 2 register content what you are passing, and that will be added, and the result will be stored in the destination results. And like that, you have so many instructions. I am just trying to take the Yeah, you can see here some instructions are here. Move instruction is there. Okay, so I can use. Oh, they have also given the syntax. Okay, they also given the syntax here. I'll just download and I'll just maximize this one. Okay, I'll just take this particular image. I just opened this particular image. You can see there. Okay, so what is this? In this particular move instruction is there, add instruction is there, and what we have to see whenever we look into this instruction, we just have to see the syntax. Okay, so there may be some slight changes in the syntax. The syntax we just have to see. Okay, so now in in 8051 we know that the source and destination is basically the first register. But in this case, they have given some provision that you can pass 2 parameters and the result can be stored in the destination result. 3 parameters they are passing to the add instruction. So this program is fine now. Okay, so to add 2 numbers, 2 registers present in microcontroller, you can use this 3 instructions. Fine. Okay. So other instruction we just have to learn. Okay, so if you are trying to do coding in assembly, so you just have to learn this one. They have some more instruction like move and negate. Okay, negate and move the content. Add instruction, add through carry, subtract through carry. Okay, so reverse subtract. Okay, I want to do A minus B, B minus A. That option is also there. And logical operations you have and or logic or logic, XOR logic. All those things you have, and also branching instruction. Okay, so all those instructions you have here as well, which is very similar to the instruction what we learned in microprocessor and microcontroller. And syntax we just have to understand. We just have to see some tutorial, and we just have to understand the syntax. Okay. So now, by doing this groundwork, we should start writing the program. Okay, so this program is fine. Okay, so this program just adds 2 numbers. Okay, now, any questions on this? Any questions on this? So programming model. Okay, so you can see here, 10 you are passing, 20 you are passing, and you are doing addition operation. Okay, so what happens? R2 will be loaded with say 30. So now you can see what is, and also program status register. Program status register changes. Okay, so program status register changes. Say for example, 0 flag will be 0. Okay, carry flag will be there is no carry or borrow. Okay, so and and also say maybe some other flags. So all these things will set after this operation. Okay, so anyway, result will be 30 that will be stored in R2 register in the ARM. Okay, any questions? Any questions you can ask in the chat box. Okay, am I audible? My voice is fine. My voice is fine. Yeah, thank you. So now, what we have to understand, so say for example, so this is correct program. Okay, so this program, if you type in the raw assembler, then you can execute that particular program. But so the different companies are providing the compilers. Okay, so say for example, Keil is there. Okay, they will provide some compilers. So then what they will do, they will give some structure. Okay, so just to make the user to feel some comfortable, so they will give some structure. So we just have to use that particular structure and we have to write the program. Okay, so basically what happens, you might have learned in C program. Okay, so you have something called assembler directives. Okay, so anybody knows this assembler directives in C program? What happens in assembler directives? Any example for that? Anybody knows assembler directives? You can also put it in the chat box. Assembler directives in C, the definition. or simply what happens? Example, ash include, ash define. Okay, so these are all assembler directives, right? In C program, ash define. Okay. So what is assembler directives? Anybody? Anybody knows this?
Sir, these are commands which are help to assemble data, like to store and to control the data that is inputted from the user or something like that.
No. That is not the meaning of assembler directive. Can anybody tell me what is assembler directive? Assembler directive. Anybody studied the C program in detail? Please. Say, for example, ash define, ash include. Okay, so all these things are assembler directives, right? Okay. Assembler directives. Okay, so assembler directives are basically, so what happens, during the compilation, okay, during the compilation, so it is something like a replacement, okay, so the replacement, okay, so what I can say, say for example, you have, you know, ash define, okay, so as a okay two start two something like that. Okay, so you are defining something like this. Then what happens when it is compiling? So wherever you have the symbol a, the symbol a will be replaced with this particular thing. Okay, so then the modified version, okay, will be used and it will be converted into binary. Okay, so this is the two stages what happens. So first, any program wherever assembler directives are there, so that will be solved first, and then it will compile and it will prepare the binary file. You got it? Okay. So now the thing is, if you have assembler directives, so that means the some specific compilers only can understand that particular the meaning of that those assembler directives. You understood? So that means the person who is creating the compiler, he can define any assembler directives. Okay. So then what happens? Then he knows what are the assembler directives he is created. Now, then what he does, when he receives the program, receives the high-level program, so first he will focus on this assembler directives, and all the replacements will be done in the program, and then the actual C program will be fed to the compiler, C compiler, and the binary will be generated. Okay, so this is one thing. Now, how you can understand, say for example, what if you take this C Keil compiler? Okay, so if you take this Keil compiler, so they are, they are proposing, some template, okay, like this. So what is that? They are proposing some structure. Okay, how? So they are proposing like this. So you should have area. Okay, area. And so this is the place where you are defining your variable. Okay, you define the variables here. Then what you do? Then you just use entry, okay, entry command, and then you write your application program, okay, application program. At the end, you write the command end. So this is the structure what the Keil is proposing, okay. But when you see this particular program, so what is that? I may not define any variable now. What is my main program? My main program may be move, okay. So R0 comma ash 0x10, okay, move R1 comma ash, okay, so 0x20, Okay, so then add R2 comma R0 R1. Now see, I just kept that entry. Okay, inside that entry thing, what they say, the Keel, okay, the Keel compiler provider, they'll say they're saying you keep the variables in area block, variables and programs, okay, program address, okay, and also your actual program, you just keep it in the entry block. So that means this is the application block. So they say application start, okay, application start point, application code, okay, application code, and this is the application termination point, okay. So application termination, this is what they define. So this structure they are providing. So we have to follow this particular structure to write the program, okay. You understood, na? So, but actually, what is that? So this is actually the assembly code. So this is the assembly code. So all these things are basically, you know, this area is assembler directive, this entry is assembler directive, this end is assembler directives. So whatever keyword they are proposing, so all these things are assembler directives. Then what happens? So using, you know, they know the structure where the data is defined, where the program is defined. Then they'll use this particular, now after taking this particular program, they'll convert to one more intermediate, program, assembly program. Okay. So then they will convert to the binary code. Okay. Then they will convert to the binary code. But if you write a program, if you write a program by following the structure of the Keel compiler, the same program cannot be compiled in some other compiler. So you understood now why it won't compile? Because assembler directives are not defined in that particular compiler. Okay, so that's why whenever you take in C, especially in the assembly level, then you just have to see this particular part. So what kind of structure that compiler follows? Okay, so we have to follow this particular structure to write a assembly program. You understood? So one such example, general structure is basically it has area. Inside that particular block, you are defining the variable, and you have a entry. Entry is basically where you are starting your application. So application has three parts. One is application start, application code, and application termination. And ultimately, you will be having end command. End command basically ends the program. So here, entry, area are basically assembler directives. Okay, you got some idea about this particular thing, how you have to take up the programs. So you may be knowing the assembly program, but you have to, if you type this particular program directly in the in any applications, then it won't compile, because you have not followed the the structure what they are giving. Why this is required? Because when you define any data, so they will carefully allocate this particular data in the memory. Okay, and the addresses they will allocate for the particular memory, and where the code should come. So it is very easy for them to handle and convert that to hexadecimal, and so for that reason they give this kind of structure. Okay, so we have to, addition to the programming model and the instructions syntax, you need to know the structure structure of the program as well in ARM. Okay, so this is one additional thing. Whereas, if you see the 8051 programming, we directly started. We have not followed any structure. We directly followed that one. Okay, so here we just have to follow some structure. If you are directly using the hardware level compiler, so this structure you no need to follow. Say for example, I can use Raspberry Pi, and I can directly use in command prompt. I can go and I can directly use the microprocessor compiler, okay, ARM compiler. Then I no need to follow this one. Okay, so if we are using any third-party compiler, then we have to use this particular structure. Okay. Any questions? Any questions on this? Okay. Any questions? Am I audible? Okay, audio is fine? Yeah. Now, I'll just showcase one simple program. Okay, you can see here. Okay, so now we know the structure of this ARM program. Now you can see here you have a area block and you have a entry block. Okay, so in area block variables are defined, and in entry block program is defined. Okay, now you can see there area. Okay, so my data. So my data is basically the variable. We can give any name here, followed by data. Okay, so data is basically the keyword. Area is basically assembler directive, and data is basically the keyword. So inside whatever you define, so those are all variables. Okay, so those are all variables. Now these variables will sit in some specific memory locations. It's understood. So now that is accessible to your program. Then you have something you want to define your code, right? So now you see here the data and the code is separate. Okay, separately created, and it is kept in two different places in the memory. So area, this my code can be any string, and followed by a code. Code is basically the keyword. Okay, so entry again assembler directives. Okay, so assembler directive, which is basically starting of your program. Okay, starting of your program. Okay, so then export is also keyword which is used to link the program. Okay, so export is the assembler directive which is used to link the program. Okay, so now what we are trying to do, we are using export keyword and we are linking the main program. So main program is here. So that means all the your application is coming under the entry block. Okay, and that is coming under the code block. Okay, so you have some data. Now you see here. So the way the way in which you can the variable is used in your application is like this. So you just have to use one more move command which is called load command. Okay, so LDR means load register. Okay, which is equal to move instruction. Yeah, just a second. Yes. Yeah, no. Okay. So now LDR means here it is equivalent to move command. Okay. So what is that move? Move does it moves the content from one location to the destination location. Similar to this, this LDR will work. Okay. LDR means load register. Okay. So load register. So in this particular case, what happens? The data present in the variable. Okay. What is that? The variable NO1. Okay, number 1, that is nothing but 10 will be stored to R0 register. Similarly, number 2 variable will be stored to R1 register, and then it will be added and the result will be stored to, you can give like this also in R2 register. Okay, R0 and R1 will be added and the result will be stored in, R2. So like this, you can write a program. So this is one simple example, how you can write the ARM assembly code. So anyway, I told you, whenever you are dealing with ARM, okay, so you should not spend your energy in writing the assembly program. You just straight away can start C program. But it is, it is important to learn this particular assembly program as well, because if you're doing any smaller application or if you're developing any smaller product, then I think you can manage with the assembly program. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll try to run this particular program in Keil. Okay, so you just have to open the Keil, just see the procedure. It takes only 2 minutes. So I'm just opening the Keil program now. You see here, I just wrote this program, or I'll do it from the beginning. Now I'll just close all the project. Now project, new project, then give some name. Okay. So test2, I just gave the project name as test2, and here select some ARM controller. Now I'm just taking STM product. So I'm just taking some ARM controller. Basically, this is a very primitive operation. Add any ARM controller you can take and you can work. And whenever you are selecting the runtime, okay, try to select the core. Okay, CMSIS under that section, try to select the core. Okay, and then under the devices. Okay, under the devices, try to take the startup. Okay, startup component. Then okay, click on resolve always. Okay, so when you click on resolve, if any additional dependencies are there, so that it will resolve by itself and it will load. So click on resolve. Okay, so there then click on OK. Now you can see here, everything is ready now. Okay, so there is some issue. Yeah, startup program. Let me compile and see. And also make sure that when you're working, okay, so go to manage and runtime environment. Sorry, not runtime environment. Okay, so go to project and options. Okay, just make sure that your debugger is the simulator. Okay, because we are not burning our program to the hardware, so it has to be your simulator. Then select simulator and press OK. Okay, so then after that you just create a new program. Okay, so new program. So I'm writing an assembly program. So name for that assembly program, I'm just giving that as test2. Now you see here I'm just copying this entire program. Okay, so this program I'm copying. I just pasted here. Okay, I just saved this particular program and I just click on the build. Okay, so you can see there there is no error. Okay, so there is no warning and all. So successfully compiled. Now we just have to see. So now I'll go to debug mode. Now the program is ready. When I run this program, okay, so you can see the result here. When I run the program, the results are captured here. Now you see first number is basically what we stored. So you can see the program. We are storing R0 10. Can you see there? So 10 is coming there. Okay. So 10 is coming there. So 10 means in hexadecimal A, right? In hexadecimal A. So that A is coming in R0. So similarly 20. Okay. Decimal 20 is equal to 14 in hexadecimal. That is coming in R1. When you add both the things, okay, you are getting 30. The equivalent hexadecimal number is 1E. So that 1E is got stored in R2. So this is the way in which you can write the assembly program in ARM. Okay, assembly programming ARM. So I think you see the way in which we are doing debug. Okay, and and also now the thing is we are following this block, the structure we are following. But inside that particular main block, your program will be similar to 8051 code only. Okay, so just practice this program in your key, and let's see in the next coming classes we'll see different types of ARMs, and let us take up one or two assembly programs, and then we'll stick to C program. Okay, so that is the idea. Okay, so is that clear now? Is that clear? Any doubts? So this addition of 2 number is fine. Okay, so just follow and write in Keel and try to execute this program. And if any error comes, let me know. Fine. So I'll stop here. Okay. So I'll take attendance quickly.